What up, y'all? So we are looking at Nasdaq, US100, and NAS100. So looking at the charts right now, we can see that we are currently we know that Nasdaq it's always buying, right? It's always in a bullish trend most of the time. So after drawing our trend line there, we can see the trend line has been broken and had some sort of retracement on that before it actually came down. And so let us zoom in and try to have a clear picture of what I'm saying. So this is what happened, right? Nasdaq broke the trend line here, around here. The trend line was broken and it came back to create a resistance level there, retesting the trend line. So let's mark it like that. So it broke this trend line with this candlestick down, this yellow candlestick down, closed it below the trend line, and made two candlesticks retesting the trend line, also creating a resistance zone, then came down to create a support zone. So let's mark the support zone there also. Yeah, so the support zone is marked, the resistance zone is marked. So what happened is that after creating this, after changing direction here, it went up to do what? To retest that this level of resistance here, making an M formation. So let's dive deeper and see what actually happened, what led to this sudden changing movement. So remember, we are not fully in a downtrend. We just broke the trend line. We are not in a, you can't say we are about to experience an overall bearish movement, or like that only happens if there is a market crash, in Wall Street or something. So now let's check. We can clearly see that we had our resistance, first level of resistance, then it came back to retest that level of resistance there. So, and we can check how we can also draw a trend line here, from here down here. So let's say, let us assume that you get in, or you open the chart and you find Nasdaq still around this price, and you draw your trend line like this, and the price is still below this trend line, and it goes above this trend line, come back to retest that trend line while retesting the support here. So it was a nice buy. You know that after buying here, your next target is the next level, is the next zone, because usually price move from one zone to another, one higher zone to another. So if there's no zone, first it creates a zone, then move from zone to zone. That's how price moves. That's how you set your take profit. So now let's remove this one. We are on the 8-hour chart. So looking at this, you can see that we had a change in direction here. So is it gonna continue going down, or it's gonna change direction here? So let's see. For us to see that, we need to dive into smaller time frame and spot the difference. So now on the 4-hour chart, we can see our support area this side. Let me get rid of this trend line to keep the chart clean. we know it has broken that trend line, so now we have to keep the chart split. So now this is it. We have our level of support, right? And we are now, our price is now approaching that level of support. So the best thing is to mark this level of support here. Sorry. So is to mark this level of support here. Then after marking that level of support, now we can see that we have a structure of an inverse head and shoulder pattern. We have a structure of an inverse head and shoulder pattern. So if you don't know what a head and shoulder is, it's something like this, which is popular in the market. It's a structure like this. Let me show you. It's built like this. But then with our situation, then we are having an inverse, which is just the same it's just the same, but with a mirror view. So when we talk about head and shoulder pattern, we talk about sorry. Let me find something so that I can show you guys what are we actually talking about when we talk about head and shoulder. We're actually talking about so we're actually talking. Oh, come on. Don't do me like that, man. I want to draw these things. So we're actually talking about our first shoulder. Let's say this is our first shoulder. And it goes up, break that resistance level, create a hair, comes down, break that resistance level there, and 10 year, create the second shoulder. So this is what we are talking about when you talk about. It looks like this, head and shoulder. So an inverse head and shoulder would looks like this. So an inverse head and shoulder looks like this. Yep. Looks like this. An inverse head and shoulder looks like this. So we'll be having our level of resistance there. And support level there. So now looking at the current situation of Nasdaq, looking at the current situation, of Nasdaq, the situation here, we had our first shoulder here. This is an inverse head and shoulder. First shoulder here, came back, created the head, went up to create to create this level of resistance here. Now we are about to complete, we are about to make the second shoulder. But then remember, this is Nasdaq, is driven by the news and everything. We might end up seeing, we might end up experiencing a breakout there, or a false inverse head and shoulder. So yeah, which is common or likely to happen. We might see that. We might see that instead of Nasdaq coming instead of Nasdaq coming down here to complete the last set of the shoulder, we might see a breakout. It has to come here then return to create the last shoulder. But then since it's Nasdaq, we might have some news, or some news might come up or something like that, and force it to come down here to break that neck, or to break this above this level here, to break below this level here and come to this level. So so the question is, how do you know it's going to complete the inverse head and shoulder, or it's going to break below this level? So the best thing you can do now, the best way to look at it, since we are on the 4-hour chart, the best way to look at it is to wait for price to close on the 4-hour chart. Wait for the first candle, the candlestick that breaks this level, or that comes here. Wait for that candlestick to close below here. Now, if the candlestick on the 4-hour chart close below this zone here, this white zone we have here, you have to sell. You have to sell it, and your next target should be hit this previous low here. But if the candlestick on the 4-hour chart closes above here, and the second candlestick engulfs, or is bigger than the previous candlestick that closed here, then you enter a buy. Then your target should be hit. So on the previous high here. So it makes sense now. It makes sense. It will be our inverse head and shoulder being completed. And if you are not satisfied with the profits when you reach here, you can just simply trail your stop, or move it into profit, then wait for it to reach and see what happens when it comes to this level, because it can also break this level and continue going up, meaning maximizing your profit. So now, that's it for this video. That's how Nasdaq most of the time operate. It does not, most of the time, it does respect technical analysis, but we also have fundamental fundamental news. You have to check all those things, see if the best way to check news that are related to Nasdaq. You can check Bloomberg, everything. Just try to find economical news and keep up with what is going on with Nasdaq, Able, Amazon. You keep track of those things, then you know what will happen. So then you try to match those fundamental news with your technical analysis to give you more confidence and the power to hold, or confidence to enter your trades. So so now that's it for this video. Remember, no one controls the market. We use what we see to predict what will happen. So anything can happen, but with knowledge and good risk management, you have the confidence to enter. And so that's it for this video.